Thanks to the support as a channel member, Tristan McDonald. No, I completely agree. It's not ideal for us to be stuck in this league for another year. I guess one way out would be for you to give me a load of money to spend in this... No. Yeah, you did do that last summer, and that didn't really work out, did it? Am I going to be able to do any transfers? Probably not. Magic. Hello and welcome to part 46 of Holiday Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it is our season review and transfer special as we put together the team that is going to win the league. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to resign. I'll have had enough. I can't do a fourth year in this league. We win the league this year or I'm done. I'll admit defeat. And it's not often I admit defeat. So let's do the season review and then crack on with building this title-winning team. As you can expect, signing of the season, Gorka Pascual. Who else would it be? 29 appearances, 34 goals, a 7.43 average rating. As I've always said, the key attribute for a striker is finishing. He's very good at it. He scored a goal a game, although apparently doesn't turn up for the playoffs, which is a bit of a theme throughout the rest of the squad. The rest of the signings... they're fine. I mean, Rodrigo didn't really get much of a chance because we signed Serrano. Serrano's now going back to Argentina, so he doesn't matter anymore. Sandoval gets assists, but doesn't play very consistently. And the rest of them, just a little bit, they're fine. We need to do better this summer, though. So Mrs. Wearmouth was looking for me to finish top half. Once again, we did get into the playoffs, second season in a row. I think we definitely significantly overperformed this season. I think the squad we did this most recent season with was actually not quite as good as the one from the year before. So I think we did very, very well to get into the playoffs, but then got embarrassed when we got there. Sponsorships are up a little bit. Shirt sales, Ivan Luis sells more than Pascual, which is odd. Ivan Luis is going to be leaving, as likely is Sandoval and Juregi, because they're all out of contract and we either can't afford to keep them or don't really want to keep them. This was our team of the year, still in the 4-3-3. Imagine if they'd have all stayed fit. Serrano in goal, a back four of Zafra, Joffrey, Ivan and Carrington. Carrington going back to Portsmouth, or going to Portsmouth for the first time. He never actually went there. Has he ever been to Portsmouth in his life? But he's leaving to go and play in League One. Alex Boxall, of course, still nursing a broken leg, so unlikely to be starting the season with us. Koulibaly and Rabiot in midfield. Martinez Perez also injured, so Rabiot had to move out onto the left. Sandoval is out of contract. Ivan Luis not even in the team of the year. Pascual being signed for next year is the only bright point. He won Fans Player of the Year, Fans Young Player of the Year, because he's still only 23. Signing of the season, as we've already seen. Zafra got goal of the season. I don't even remember that one. Pascual was top scorer. Rabiot, most assists. Pascual, most man of the matches and highest average rating. And I still don't know how to pronounce his name properly. He also set new club records for most league goals by a player in a season. 34. Also got most goals in a match at 5, most goals in a league match at 5, and most man of the matches with 11. We not only replaced Kevin Carlos, we got an upgrade on Kevin Carlos for much less money. That was good business. If we can do business like that multiple times over this summer, we will be fine. This is our all-time best 11. So if we just check in on where these guys are, Romero hasn't yet found a club, as you would imagine. The rest of the back four are all still here, as is Boxall and Rabiot. Cucurella retired, left us and retired, age 22. That is a real shame, because the only reason he left us is because he was asking for too much money. If he'd have been a bit more sensible about how much money he wanted, he would still be playing for us now. You can take the boy out of Pratt. Exactly. Martinez Perez on the left, Facal on the right, of course, Facal. Oh! Facal's a coach! Facal's a coach! Oh, my word! Oh, what a time to be alive. What flavour of coach is he? I haven't even looked. He's a special one. I mean, yeah, under 19s maybe. For now, Facal's coming home. They all come home of it. Oh, come on. Come on, please. Ivan. What if I get you in the first team? Even less? How does that work? I don't understand. Under 19's assistant manager, maybe. Come on, you got to like the look of that. Ivan. Under 19's manager? B team manager. You got to do something. Under-19s manager. Right, we are going to have to sack our under-19s manager. I think that's fine. Kevin Carlos, meanwhile, is still enjoying Plateau. We're sacking the under-19s manager. Is he any good? Do we need to give him a promotion before Ivan Fakal returns? Ivan Moya has been in since 2020. You know what? It's no loss. We're fine. So Ivan Fakal is coming home. What a thing that is. We've added a few more social media followers, which is lovely. Mrs. Wearmouth is very disappointed that we don't play direct football. It's no pleasing some people. Wants us to challenge for the playoffs this year. I mean, that's what we do every year. End of season team meeting. Let's just say we're going to challenge for the playoffs. They're happy with that. Bringing Fakal back is going to be absolutely huge. Just having his presence back around the club is going to be massively significant. Also worth noting as well, Mrs. Wearmouth didn't lower the wage budget. She's given us exactly the same wage budget for the coming season as we've had for the season just gone. So we know what we're working with. We know the kind of squad we can put together on that kind of budget. There are a number of key players who are out of contract that we'll probably let leave. Fran, Rodrigo, probably. I mean, we might keep Rodrigo as our starting keeper for next year, but Jaregi will go. Hurtado will go. Jimenez, we know, is already going. We need to give Dan Grocott a new contract, as we do to Ramadani as well, who's a high potential youngster. But Carrington and Serrano going back to their parent clubs. The big ones we need to try and tie down this summer that we're going to struggle are Ivan Luis and Rodrigo, because they are key players that we really, really would like to keep, but we may not be able to. Right, I'm taking off the match highest earner clause. I'm actually going to leave his promotion wage rise on and let that be a problem for future Kev. Not that, I mean, right. Forget it. He's done. Rodrigo, we'll look at in a minute. Sandoval, can we get him to tie down? Potentially. Potentially, this one might be one that actually happens. For goodness sake. Okay, so that one's not happening. Rodrigo, starting keeper for next year. Come on then, in you come. Can we just renew a contract? Is that too much to ask? Are we going to renew a contract here? Can we push you down a little bit? Maybe a little bit. Just a little, please. Let me feel like I've won a negotiation this summer. There we go. And then the rest of them we'll deal with through the magic of being off camera. And then we'll work out what we've got left, which isn't, it's not going to be a lot. I tell you, there's not going to be loads of transfers this summer. And we've got 2 key starters leaving. This is going to be a tough one. Well, it's the 30th of June, so release day. So we've released quite a few players, a few familiar names from last year. And, I mean, Russ Eddy is the most notable one. He's been with us right from the very beginning, played over 100 games for the club, but it was time for him to move on. We've also lost Dan Taylor, another name in the game player. He goes out to go and do his business. Manuel Rostol, who was the youngster who played in goal the other year when we had no goalkeeper, finally shot of him. He was a curse on the club. And the big goalkeeper we signed from Real Madrid is gone as well. We are hopefully right at the death going to be getting Ivan Luis a new contract. We got Sandoval tied down to one. Ivan Luis today, the 30th of June, has agreed to a new contract, a 2-year contract extension on 2.4k a week. So almost doubling his current salary and with a match highest earner clause. But I think with this 4-2-3-1 that we now play, having him in at attacking midfield is absolutely crucial, and also gives us the option to play him up front as well. And Ivan Fakal is back home. He's now our under-19s manager and is studying for his National B contract. So I think just having Fakal back around the place should give us a lovely old boost. So it is now the 1st of July. We go into the 1st of July with a first team squad of 23 players because Thomas Serrano is about to head back to Argentina. He hasn't gone yet, but he is on his way to the airport. So he's on his way out of the club. And of course, Alex Boxall is going to miss most of the first half of the season recovering from his broken leg. That's with adding a few of these youngsters up into the first team squad as well. So Xander has been moved back up into the first team squad. Belmont has been moved up from the B team as well. So a couple of these boys have been moved up into the first team squad as well. Money-wise, we can't sign anybody. So we are going to have to make do with what we've got, which is a weaker squad than last year. Again, we only have one goalkeeper in the shape of Rodrigo. Patrice Boyer is still here, and I guess he's going to have to sit on our bench. And then we'll have to try and sign a lone goalkeeper, I guess. At left back, we have got options, i.e. we play Zafra, who's good, or someone else who isn't very good. We have got Kieran Hodgkinson, who's going to have to be back up left back. He played a few times last season. And also Javier Torreira has come through our youth system. And, he's an option, isn't he? At right back, we've obviously lost both of our starting right backs from last year. So at the moment, we don't really have one. And we don't have any money to bring in players. So we need a loan at right back, probably two, although any of these can cover out there if needed. And then at centre-back, we've got Ivan, we've got Galdino, we've got Joffrey, we've got Hurtado, and also Dan Grocott can play there as well, and Xander. So centre-back, we're fine. We don't need to touch centre-back. I've now magically made the overlay go away that was there by mistake. Apologies, boys and girls. Oh, I know it makes you cross. And then in midfield, obviously we have to ignore Alex Boxall initially, which gives us Rabiu, then Koulibaly. I guess those two are fine as starters. And then a lot of youngsters. We're just going to have to rely on the youngsters. Grocott, Star, Munoz can all play in there. On the left-hand side, obviously Rabiu is taken care of back there. So it's Martinez Perez and Rob Harley on the left. And then on the right, Sandoval, who has signed a new contract, plus Ivan Mutt, who is somehow still here after all these years as a backup over there as well. And of course, there's a few others who can play out there. And then in attacking midfield, Ivan Luis, assuming he signs the new contract he's been offered, will be our starter in that role. And then Fred Stiebling, I guess, needs to develop into it as another option as well. And then up front, it's Pasquale and then Luis and Stiebling offering support as and when needed. So priority is definitely right back. Probably need a right back. And I'm talking loans here because, like I said, we can't sign anybody. So I'm talking right back, goalkeeper, probably a midfielder to cover for Alex Boxall. I don't know how likely it is to get any of these loans. There's certainly no point at all looking at free transfers. We had a season like this earlier on in the save and we won the league that year. I think it was it that season where we couldn't sign anybody at all? We just had to go with youth and it worked. We're a couple of divisions higher now. We're going to have to just go with youth and hope it works again. Cross everything, boys and girls. I'm going to go and try and find some loans. I hate loans so much. Really hate them. Well, as you can see, it's the 24th of July. Quite a lot of time has passed and we've not really done a lot. We have a master plan. The master plan is sign a load of youngsters on loan for nothing to replace our youngsters so we can then loan them out for money to try and free up some wage budget. Shut up, Siri. So we've got quite a few guys who are in. We've got a goalkeeper. Hold on. That's the wrong season because that's a good goalkeeper. Let's start from here. We've got David Rodriguez, who is a 2-star central midfielder. I mean, we're talking backups upon backups here. None of these are that spectacular. We do have a player who can play right back. So that's nice to see. Still only 2 stars, though. They're all like 2.5 stars. This guy from Valencia. Some of them we're paying a little bit of salary to as well, but mostly nothing or not a lot. This guy can play in all of those positions, which is very, very handy. Not that we're going to use him as a starter. We've got a backup goalkeeper. And then lastly, we've got a attacking midfielder who can also play left wing and central midfield. You might notice they're all Uruguayan or Argentinian. I don't know why. They're just what my director of football, who is Argentinian, was offering me. And then to balance that, we've started offering our own fringe players out and having their salaries covered. As you can see, these are all having their salaries covered by the clubs that they've gone to, all of which means with the contract renewals, including Ivan Luis's new contract, We're still slightly over wage budget, so still can't sign anybody permanently. And that's what I've spent 3 weeks of game time doing. The squad is still a little on the big side. In fact, if we move Munoz down to the under-19s, Xander can go down to the under-19s. We've probably still got 2 or 3 players more than we need to in this first team squad. So we could potentially let Rob Harley out on loan because he kind of wants to go. So maybe if we offer him out on loan, as long as his salary is covered. Because one of the new boys can play left wing, and we've obviously got Rubio and Rabiu. The amount of times I've called him Rubio, we've got Rabiu, we've got Martinez Perez, who can both play left wing. So we could potentially then have where is he? This guy as our third choice, and let Rob Harley go out on loan for the season to save some money that way. And then we've got Kieran Hodgkinson, who is still our backup left back, so we kind of need to keep him around at the moment. And Fred Stiebling is the other one who we could potentially loan out because he's fallen down the pecking order a little bit with this guy coming in who is kind of filling his spot. But that's still, when Ivan Luis and Gorka are both starters, that's still only a reserve for each of them. So I'm a little bit wary of letting Fred go out. So this might end up being the squad. If we can't get anyone else out of the door, that does mean we're not going to be able to sign anybody permanently. The media think we're going to finish 5th. Barcelona are apparently going to win the league, and we know we're better than them. Alicante came back down, and we're apparently better than them. I mean, there seems to be less scary B teams knocking around the place this year. We've got 4 promoted teams and only 2 relegated teams. So we've done well on the league shuffle around as well. We might just go and surprise everybody and win the league, but at the moment, we are very much going to be relying on players staying fit to make that happen. If everybody stays fit and Alex Boxall gets fit quick, then we've got a chance. But the problem is, of course, at the moment, we're still planning on playing the high-intensity tactic that caused all the injuries towards the end of last season. So, yeah, it's fine. We needed to get promoted last year, or else it was going to cause financial problems. We didn't get promoted. So guess what, everybody? It's caused financial problems. It's almost as if we could have seen it coming. The money is, we'll show you the actual club balance in a minute. Mrs. Wearmouth, bless her, has been throwing money at the kitty all summer again, like she always does. And we're still massively overdrawn. And over all of our budgets. I think this is our squad. If anything else happens, I will show you it. This is the shortest transfer special I've ever done. And unless something changes, the first time ever, I think, in a YouTube video that I've done a transfer window and not brought a single player in on trial. We haven't even looked what's available because I kind of don't want to know. The only permanent signing we've made all summer is Ivan Fakal to come in as our under-19s manager. I wonder if he could play. Can we get him on a player manager role? Why can't we get him on a player manager role? That would be ideal for him. Oh, boys and girls, it's the signing of the summer. The only signing of the summer. Eloy Busquets is our new right back, and he has a complete 2.5 stars with him. To be fair, he was previously playing for Tarragona at this level for the last couple of years with average ratings. So, you know, he's just what we needed. He was less than £1,000 a week. That's important. He's a right back, can also play right wing or left back as a complete wing back, believe it or not, which I choose not, probably. That does mean we now have a right back, which is nice. It also means we're now back over our spending again. We have loaned Rob Harley out. We've loaned Patrice Boyer out. We're now also trying to send Kieran Hodgkinson out on loan, although he hasn't had any offers yet. I think that should bring us back down to roughly the budget again. And then I genuinely don't think we can sign anyone else. We have brought some more trialists in. Some of them are pretty good as well. I'd love to be able to bring this guy in. Can't afford him. Love to be able to bring this guy in. Guess what? Can't afford him. So I think, I know I said it a minute ago and then did more, but I actually think we might be done this time. Is this the offers for Kieran Hodgkinson? It is. So that gets another one out of the wage budget for the season, which is nice. And we're just gonna, I will really try and squeeze one more signing in, because if we could get that striker, we could send Fred Stiebling out on loan. I still don't think the book's balanced though, but I really would like this guy. He's quick and good at finishing. He's everything I want, everything I need, but I know we can't afford him at the moment, so we've kind of got to hold fire. Do we offer Fred Stiebling out on loan, knowing full well that we could go into this guy and he asks for $3,000 a week? I mean, maybe we just have to. I mean, if he, yeah. So we were never going to get him anyway. I think we're done. Well, as you can see, it is the first day of the new season. Things have not exactly gone to plan. We've continued to loan players out, but somehow, despite them being loaned out for salaries, I mean, we can pick one as an example. There you go. There's one. He is being loaned out for a salary, or is that a salary? They're paying a fee, not as. Okay, I may see what's happened here now. Are they all like that? He's not getting it. Okay. Some of them have got their salaries covered, like he has. Either way, we've done all these loans and we're still over our wage budget, still in a negative transfer budget. So we've not been able to do any further business, all of which means we reach just about the end of the transfer window. It's about to slam shut. We're now expected to finish outside of the playoffs because everyone around us has strengthened beyond us, and this is what our team is looking like for the first day of the new season, because Gorka picked up a knock in pre-season, so he's not available to start. So we're gonna have to play one of the new boys in attacking midfield and push Ivan Luis further forward. We're also having to play Gaudino in midfield. Alex Boxall is actually on the bench, but is still going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks with his broken leg. But he's always been our best trainer, and he is desperately trying to get himself back fit as quickly as possible. Look at his bravery increasing while he's recovering from an impact injury. The man is not human. And we've also got the two new fullbacks, Busquets playing at left back, even though he's a right back, and Peas playing at right back, even though he's rubbish. And of course, Rodrigo now takes over permanently in goal, which he did start in as our first choice keeper last season. Very quickly got replaced by the loanee from Argentina. But there's not going to be a loanee from Argentina this year because we've got no money to bring one in. So that's probably going to be the team. We've got to go up this year, or else I actually could get fired, because Mrs. Wearmouth is actually expecting the playoffs this year. She's backing us massively financially. We're continuing to fall further and further into debt, but you can see she is continuing to throw money into the club. Nearly or over £1 million of investment from Mrs. Wearmouth in the last year or so. And she's not really getting any return from it, and I'm over all my budgets. So I think if we finish mid-table like we could with this squad, I might be given the old heave-ho. Whenever I say things like that, we usually win the league. So fingers crossed, tomorrow things start really well and we go and win the league. Let me know down in the comments section where you think we'll finish. There's no prize. I just want at least some of you to make me feel better. But if you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.